Hi, everybody. I want to welcome you all to our first video for Calculus 2, Math 1520 at C&M here. The point of this video is I just want to kind of give you a rundown of the format of the class, how grades are going to be calculated, general ideas like that. Most of this information is in the syllabus. Essentially, that's what I'm going over. And you'll find that this information actually shows up all over the place across our Blackboard site, just to try to make this as accessible as possible. I want this information to be obvious, so hopefully you don't have to email me later when you can't find out what week an exam is, for example. So again, my name is Lane McConnell. I'm going to be your instructor this semester. Calculus 2 is an interesting and difficult class. But if you've made it through Calculus 1, congratulations, first of all, but you should be all right. It's a little bit different in format than Calculus 1. So just as far as content is concerned, in Calculus 1 we focused almost exclusively on the concept of derivatives, applications of derivatives, interpretations of what a derivative is, and only at the very end of the semester did we move on to the concept of integration. This semester, we're going to focus on integration for the vast majority of the semester. Up through about week 9, I think, that's going to be the bread and butter of this class. We will talk about different methods of integration, so how you actually compute different types of integrals, applications that show up in physics and biology, and then we're going to shift gears entirely. And if you took Calculus 1 with me, I gave you a little preview of this. If you didn't take it with me, this may be totally new to you guys. We're going to be talking about sequences and series and working our way towards something called Taylor polynomials. And I'll give you guys a lot more detail about that when we get there. But really, this class is like 2 separate classes. We're going to focus on integrals. That's going to be the first 2/3-ish of the class. And then the last third is going to be totally changed topic. We're going to be focusing on Taylor polynomials. And it'll be very loosely related to integration in a few little areas. And it'll come up again, but it's really sort of a distinct topic. And it's almost, you could put it in almost any calculus class. You could put it in Calculus 1 or Calculus 3 instead of Calculus 2. So that's going to be sort of, as far as content is concerned, that's going to be the structure of our course. We're going to focus on integration towards the beginning, the first half to 2/3, and then we're going to focus on these sequences and series at the end of the semester. Now that we've got kind of a little bit of an idea about what the content's going to look like, I want to go through some of the nuts and bolts of this class. My email is available in the syllabus. It's in the instructor information page on C&M Learn, and you can even, I think, click the C&M email button and select my name from that drop-down list and email me that way. But that's going to be your best way to get in touch with me. I'm not on campus at all this semester. I do not have access to my office phone, so I'm not even going to bother giving you my phone number. We will occasionally, if email doesn't suffice for communications, we'll be using Zoom in all likelihood for some sort of face-to-face meetings. And I'm hoping to eventually, if there's sufficient demand, even develop some office hours, maybe 1 hour a week where I'm just on Zoom, sort of in a chat room, waiting for people to show up. And if people have questions, you can just kind of stop in during that 1 hour a week with questions. And otherwise, for the time being, depending on until I see what the demand is, I'm just going to have my office hours be by appointment. So you can either send me an email and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Usually my turnaround's pretty quick, especially during the week. If I'm sitting at my computer and see it pop up and I'm not in the middle of something, I'll respond to you right then. But typically during the week, no more than 24 hours you should expect a turnaround. And if you haven't heard from me in that amount of time, feel free, email me again, pester me. I don't want to ignore you. But email is the best way to get in touch with me. If email turns out to be insufficient for our communications, we'll try a Zoom meeting or something like that where I can actually share my screen with you. We can work through a problem together things of that nature. I'd encourage you to read through the entire syllabus. It goes through a lot of important points, but I'll try to give you the greatest hits right now, so just the important points. The first is that the book that we're going to be using is the same one you used for Calculus 1. We're just going to be doing some later chapters of the same book. So if you have a hard copy, it's the same book. If you don't have a hard copy, we're using the same ebook. So it's available online. You can access it the same way you did previous semesters through CNM Learn. There are instructions. I'll give you instructions on here for how exactly to get into the textbook, but that's what we're going to be doing our homework. It is a change. If you took Calc 1 with me, we did paper homeworks. It's just not going to really be feasible to pull that off online, so we're going to be doing online homeworks, but I will have some paper quizzes that I'll have you turn in every maybe 2 weeks-ish. We'll probably have maybe 6, 8 of them over the course of the semester, and those will be problems that I come up with, similar to problems that you would expect to see on an exam, and they'll just be graded basically for credit. So you do it, you get credit. They're just practice. I will post solutions to them once they're turned in, and you can use them to study for exams. So that's going to be part of our grading. While I'm on it, let me just go through the other things that are going to make up your grade. So you're going to have, first and foremost, you're going to have homework, and it's going to be due pretty much weekly, and they're going to be on WebAssign. So they're just going to be, you know, a lot of fill in the blank, select the best answer type problems online in that homework system. You'll get immediate feedback if you're getting it right. I'll have all the help stuff in there, so it'll, you know, if you need an explanation or show me an example, you should have access to those. For the homework, I'm going to only require you maintain an 80% average on the homework, and I'll round it all the way up to 100% at the end of the semester. So just maintain an 80% on your homework, keep up with it. If something comes up and you need to skip a few problems here and there, or you have one really busy week and you need to skip an entire assignment and not get credit on it, that's okay. Just maintain an overall 80% average and you're good to go. And that's going to be worth, tentatively, this is the plan for now, that's going to be worth 15% of your grade. The quizzes that I mentioned a minute ago, those are also going to be worth 15% of your grade, and combined they make up 30% of your grade total. So 30% of your grade you will get by just keeping up with stuff. It's not going to be stuff that's graded. It's basically kind of graded on completion. Get enough of it done, hit your 80% on the homework. You should have no problem getting all of those points on the homework and the quizzes. I'm going to have a really small portion of the class grade go towards participation, and part of that's just going to be staying on task. If I see people falling way behind, you'll start to lose points. If you're 2 weeks behind, I'm going to deduct a little bit. I just want to keep you on task. This isn't a class that you can fall behind in and expect to be able to try to catch up as the semester goes on. And we're going to have just a handful of discussion posts throughout the semester, just to try to emulate the types of conversations that we might normally have in class in a face-to-face setting. So there'll be sort of conceptual questions, big picture ideas, and hopefully you can gain something from that, but it's just going to be a small amount of your grade. We're going to have 3 sort of midterm exams. They're going to be worth 15% each for a grand total of 45%, and we will also have a final exam that's going to be worth 20%, and it'll be cumulative, and it's actually going to be the week after the 3rd exam. So exam 3 is going to be in week 14, and then we're going to turn around and in week 15 have the final exam. So we'll have a lot of the grade come right at the end of the semester. I just want to give you a heads up, when we do exams, whenever we have a week with exams, that whole week is dedicated to exams. We will only be doing review during that week, and then actually I'll administer the exam, so there won't be any new material. So just keep that in mind, and maybe, depending on how things are going, if you're happy with your grade after exam 3, maybe I won't make you take the final exam, but we'll see. That can't be my official policy, but we'll see how that goes. There is a schedule available in the syllabus. Look at that if you want to get a sort of a big picture of the course. But as far as you're concerned, from your perspective, what I need you to do is keep up every week with the modules that are going to be posted. So each week we'll have a learning module. Week 1, week 2, there'll be basically the number will go with the week. Learning module 1 will be week 1. I'll actually also have a learning module 0 that I'm going to sneak in there. That's in fact where you are now watching this particular video. So that's sort of precursor material, but the actual content of the course will be in modules numbered 1 through 15. And in each of those modules, I will also give you a checklist of stuff that you need to accomplish that week to stay on task. It'll list the due dates, and typically it will include watching the lecture videos that I'm going to post. That's going to be my main way of conveying information to you. I figured the best way for most people, because most people are only taking this course online of necessity and would rather be taking it face-to-face, I'm trying to replicate the face-to-face environment as much as possible. So I'm going to give you lectures pretty much the same way I would do in class. I'm going to record them, they'll be posted on YouTube, and you will access those videos in each of the modules. So you'll have those every week. You will have homeworks pretty much every week except for weeks during exams. You'll have occasional quizzes, you'll have the other exams, any discussion posts, all of that stuff. There will be a weekly checklist of what you need to get done that week to stay on task. So look out for those. That'll be sort of the easiest way to keep track of what's going on in the class. For exams, we are going to be proctoring the exams using some software called Respondus Monitor. You may have had to use Respondus with like a lockdown browser before. There are going to be instructions included in here for how you can download that and use it, but that's the reason that we're requiring you guys to have webcams for this course. The only time we're going to be using a webcam, the only time that you need to show your face in front of the camera is when you are taking an exam. You'll record yourself taking it to basically make sure that you aren't cheating in as much as that's possible. I'm sure some of you clever people can come up with ways where there's a will, there's a way. Please don't cheat. But that's the point of that software. We're going to basically record you taking the test to detect any academic dishonesty. What I'm going to do for exams also, just because I know everybody's schedule is kind of different, I'm probably going to give you about a 48-hour period to take the exam. What I'm tentatively planning right now is for each exam, it'll open up on a Friday, either at midnight or maybe 8 a.m. or something like that, and it'll close at the end of Saturday. So you'll have all of Friday and all of Saturday to take it. Once you start it, you'll only have 75 minutes to complete it, but your start time doesn't have to be at a set time. It can be any time within that 2-day window. So keep that in mind as well. If you are trying to schedule work, we aren't going to have any required meeting times. You can go through the material from this course at your own pace as long as you're staying on track and hitting the weekly goals. But if you want to get all your work done on Monday, that's fine. If you want to save it for the last minute, I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to spread it out all over, that's fine as well. But that's going to be sort of the overall setup. Let me just quickly breeze through the syllabus, make sure there's nothing important that I'm missing. What did I not mention? Calculator. For exams, any calculator that's not a graphing calculator will be fine. For homework and stuff, you can use pretty much whatever. If you want to just use like Desmos or one of the online options for your graphing calculator, that's fine. But on exams, no graphing calculators. You're not going to need them. For the most part, I'm going to give you the graphs, or they're going to be basic graphs that I expect you to know. Things like lines, exponentials, logarithms, sine and cosine, things of that nature that hopefully you have a sense of what those graphs look like. So for exams, you're allowed a calculator, but just not a graphing calculator. I've got a few other rules just because this is an online class and we are going to have those discussion forums. I have a cheesily enough named netiquette policy that just kind of has some rules for ground rules for, you know, behaving, but they all boil down to, be respectful of other people. Try not to talk down to anybody. If you're one of those really cynical people, hide it as much as you can when you post to those discussion forums. And I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through. I'm sure there's some stuff I missed, but big picture, quick recap. This semester, we're going to focus on integration and sequences and series as far as content's concerned. The class is going to be organized in such a way that you need to get stuff done sort of in weekly chunks, and I'm going to have checklists of all the stuff you need to get done each week. You can expect a pretty similar time commitment to a normal face-to-face calculus class. So I'm going to post, a couple hours a week worth of lecture videos, probably 2 to 3 videos a week that are each range in hopefully like the 45-minute range each, hopefully. And you'll watch those and then attempt the homework, any quizzes, and my guess is that the homework and quizzes should take you an additional maybe 3 to 5 hours a week, depending on how much work there is that particular week. But that's overall what you're looking at. As things change, as the semester progresses, I'll try to be flexible. I'll let you know if and when we decide to actually hold a consistent weekly office hour, but in the meantime, just get in touch with me via email with questions, and we can arrange a face-to-face meeting on Zoom if that's better. And otherwise, I look forward to a good semester with you guys. Good luck. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions about anything. Cool. See you in the next video.